Rama Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasadisita.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we will continue with the prayers of Brahmaji, and Brahmaji is opening his heart and is calling out for the conditioned souls as to why they are suffering. What happened there? She joined and he is again out. Just check, Ravinder. We have discussed till the 9th verse why the jivas are so much miserable because of their hunger, thirst, and the most important reason was that they are always haunted by this strong desire of sex. So these are so many disturbing elements. So the point is, so why they are lamenting? If the material existence is not worth, then why they are lamenting? So now Brahmaji will speak next. You can see the screen. Yesterday we discussed, oh my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Yet as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of entanglement of material misery being influenced by your external energy. Ahani apratartha karana nishi nishayana nana manoratha dhiya shana bhaga nidraha devaha athartha rachana rishayo api deva yushmat prasanga vimukha iha samsarantihi. Such non-devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work. And thus they suffer insomnia at night, their sleep, with various mental speculations. They are frustrated in all their various plans by supernatural power. Even great sages, if they are against your transcendental topics, must rotate in this material world. The second part is very important. Here it is said that even great sages, if they are, actually they are not sage, and if they are not great. Why? Because if they are against your transcendental topics, they must rotate in this world. As described in previous verses, people who have no taste for the devotional service of the Lord are occupied in material engagements. Most of them engage during the daytime in hard physical labor. For senses, they engaged very extensively in troublesome duties in the gigantic plants of heavy industrial enterprise. The owners of such factories are engaged in finding market for their industrial products, and the laborers are engaged in extensive production involving huge mechanical arrangements. Factory is another name for hell. Prabhupada always used to call this kind of work as Ugra Karma. Ugra Karma. Or it is, here Prabhupada is directly saying it is hell. At night, hellishly engaged persons take advantage of wine and women to satisfy their tired senses. But they are not able to have sound sleep because their various mental speculative plans constantly interrupt their sleep. Because they suffer for insomnia, sometimes they feel sleepy in the morning for lack of sufficient rest. By the arrangement of supernatural power, even the great scientists and thinkers of the world suffer frustration of their various plans and thus rot in the material world, birth after birth. A great scientist may make discoveries in atomic energy for the quick destruction of the world and may be awarded the best prize in recognition of his service or disservice. But he also has to undergo the reaction of his work by rotating in the cycle of repeated births and deaths. Under the superhuman law of material nature, all these people who are against the principle of devotional service are destined to rotate in this material world without a fail. This verse particularly mentions that even sages who are averse to the principles of devotional service to the Lord are also condemned to undergo the terms of material existence. Not only in this age, but formerly also. There were many sages who tried to invent their own system of religion without reference to devotional service to the Supreme Lord. But there cannot be any religious principle without devotional service to the Lord. The Supreme Lord is the leader of the entire range of living entities, and no one can be equal to or greater than him. Even the Lord's impersonal feature and all-pervading localized feature cannot be on an equal level with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, there cannot be any religion or system of genuine philosophy for the advancement of the living entities without the principle of devotional service. So, what is the criteria and conclusion? That if there is any religion, the integral part of the religion is to perform devotional service. If the jiva does not perform devotional service, actually he is not following the path of religion. It is actually irreligion. Because the natural propensity of the living entity is to render service to the Supreme Lord. And that religion which does not invoke this principle of rendering devotional service is irreligion. The impersonalists who take much trouble in penance and austerity for self-liberation may approach the impersonal Brahmajyoti. But ultimately, because of not being situated in devotional service, they glide again down to the material world to undergo another term of material existence. This is confirmed as follows. Ye अन्य अरविंदाक्ष विमुक्त मानिनास वया सद्भावेद विशुद्ध बुद्धया आरूह कृच्छेन परम पदम तथा पतन्ति अधांद्रो युष्मादांग्रया. Persons who are falsely under the impression of being liberated without devotional service to the Lord. Ye अन्य अरविंदाक्ष विमुक्त मानस. Anya means others. Who are Arvindaksha Vimukt Maninas means that those who are free from performing devotional service. Those who have not performed devotional service, they can never be free. Why? Why asat bhave? Because they are impure. Asat. And also asat also means that which is material. Their plan, their idea, their philosophy is what? Asat. And where is it coming from? Avishuddha Buddha. From material intelligence, from impure intelligence. But because of their impure consciousness, for want of shelter in the Vaikuntha Lokas, such so-called liberated persons again fall down into material existence. 10:2:32. Therefore, no one can manufacture any system of religion without the principle of devotional service to the Lord. As we find in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the initiator of religious principle is the Lord himself. What is the principle? What is this verse? As we find in the sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the initiator of religious principle is the Lord Himself. Very famous verse. Yes, Ramya, bolo.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी धर्म तो साक्षात भगवत प्रण
Yes, very good. Dharmam tu sakshat Bhagavad Pranitam. Someone called Pradeep, he gave the invitation. Today he is not there.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, वो मीटिंग है उनका कुछ।
अच्छा,
हाँ प्रभु जी, वो
okay,
मैसेज किए थे।
okay, no problem. The initiator of religious principles is the Lord Himself. In the Bhagavad Gita also we find that the Lord condemns all forms of religion other than that which entails the process of surrendering unto the Supreme. This is the 18th chapter famous verse 18.66. Sarvdharmani Parityajya. Any system which leads one to the devotional service of the Lord and nothing else is actually religion or philosophy. In the sixth canto, we find the following statements of Yamaraj, the controller of all the unfaithful living entities. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam nave vidur rishyo napi deva न सिद्ध मुख्या सुरा मनुष्या कुतश्च विद्याधर चरणादया स्वयंभू नारद शंभु कुमारो कपिलो मनु प्रहलादो जनको भीष्मो बलिर्वय्या सखीर्वयम् द्वादशे ते विजानीमो धर्मं भागवतं भत गुह्यं विशुद्धं दुर्बोधं यं ज्ञात्वा अमृतम् अश्नुते. Very beautiful verse. This also we should memorize these three verses. Very important verses. This is spoken in context of Ajamil when the messengers of Yamaraj, they are unable to counteract the Vishnu Dutas and they get defeated. When they get defeated by the Vishnu Dutas, they come back to Yamaraj and question him. That it means that there is someone who is superior to you because his messengers are superior to us. So they are, in a way, inquiring that please define what is dharma, what are the religious principles. So there, Yamaraj is speaking that what is dharma? Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranita. And it is not even known to Nave Vidur Rishio Naapi Deva. Even the great sages and the demigods, they do not know it. And what to speak of others? Na Siddhas, na Mukhya, Asura Manushya. Then where is the possibility of other presidents? Vidyadhara Charanadaya. Then, if no one knows religion, no one knows what religion is, how to practice it, and what is good about such a religion. What is the benefit of such a religion? Then the next two verses he says. But the principle of religion is known to these Mahajans, these 12 Mahajans. Swayambhu is Brahma, Narada, Shambhu is Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, Kapilo, and Manu Maharaj, the 14 Manus, Prahlad, Janka, Bhishma, Bhishmadev. Although Bhishmadev was on the opposing side of the Supreme Lord, he was with those who were demoniac. They were condemned to die. But Vishnudev was a pure devotee. And he is still glorified. He is one of the 12 authorities. Bhishma, Balir, Maharaj Bali, Vaiyasakir. Vaiyasaki is the son of Vyasadev. That is Shukadev Goswami. And Vayam is himself, Yamaraj. Then he says, Dvadashete Vijani. So the principles of religions are known to these 12 Mahajans. Dharmam Bhagavatam Bhata. And this religious principle is Guhyam, Vishuddham, Durbodham. But anyone who follows these 12 Mahajans, Yam Gyatva Amritam Ashmate, then he can experience the nectar. The principles of religion are not open to any ordinary living entity. A human being must first be brought onto the platform of morality, non-violence, etc. That is why Prabhupada has given us the 4 regulative principles. If we very sincerely and strictly follow the 4 regulative principles, then our consciousness can become impure, and then there is possibility of understanding what religion is. Because then we come to the human platform. If one is not following the 4 regulative principles very rigidly, he will remain at this some human level. Then he cannot understand what is this Sanatana Dharma. So Prabhupada is saying these principles of religion are not open to any ordinary living entity. A human being must first be brought into the platform of morality. Non-violence, etc. are necessary for misguided persons. Because unless one is moral and non-violent, one cannot understand the principles of religion. It is very difficult to understand what actual religion is, even if one is situated in the principles of morality and non-violence. Actual religion is very confidential, because as soon as one is conversant with the real principles of religion, one is liberated and enters into the path of eternal life of wisdom knowledge. Therefore, one who is not situated in the principles of devotional service to the Lord should not pose himself as a religious leader of innocent public. The Ishopanishad emphatically forbids this nonsense in the following mantra: Andham tama pravishanti ye sambhutim upasate tato bhuya evate tamo yayu sambhutayam rataha. A person in ignorance of the principle of religion, who therefore does nothing in the matter of religion, is far better than a person who misguides other in the name of religion without reference of the factual religious principles of devotional service. Such so-called leaders of religion are sure to be condemned by Brahma and other great authorities. So here, this is the prayers of Brahmaji. The Brahmaji is himself establishing that there cannot be any religious principle without the element of devotional service. Okay. Now we go to the next verse. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja ase shutikshita pathonanunat pumsa. Very beautiful word. Very, very nectarine word. What is the word? The Supreme Lord is Shrutikshita. We will discuss this. Yad yadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti tattad vapu pranayase sat anugrahaya. So the Supreme Lord is Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Hit Sarojaha. Very beautiful verses. Ase Shutikshita Pathonanu Nath Pumsaha. This is all glories of the hearing process. Oh my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears. Krishna is Shrutikshita. Shrutikshita means that who is realized or seen through the ears. Krishna is Adokshaja. He cannot be seen by our material eyes. But if someone hears the transcendental sound, through the sound he manifests himself. Oh my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears. Want to memorize this verse? Very beautiful verse. Gaurangi suno, khelo nahi. Hari bol. Gaurangi, baith jao. Hare Krishna. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja. Saroja is what? Is the lotus. And where is this lotus blossoming? In the heart. And how this lotus is blossoming? By the process of performing bhakti yoga. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja. Aseshu tikshita pathananunatha pumsa. Yadyadhyatu rugaya vibhavayanti. Tattadvapu pranayase sad anugrahaya. O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing. And thus their hearts become cleansed. And you take your seat there. So this is what hearing will do. First, what is the verse? What is the famous verse of hearing? Shanvata swakatha Krishna punya shravanam kirtanam hridayantastohi abhadrani vidhunoti suhit. This is the same thing. Vidhunoti suhit. So the heart will become cleansed. It will become so cleansed where the lotus can blossom. And what is the blossoming of the lotus? The Supreme Lord taking seat in the heart. Asay, you can recite on the, where the Supreme Lord will reside? On the lotus, which has blossomed in the heart. How? Because of hearing. Shutikshita patho. So we are all which pantho? We are Shutakshita patho or pantha. So we have the path of realization of the Supreme Lord to the process of Shutakshita, to the process of bona fide hearing. So your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed. So the lotus can sprout, and you take seat there. When the lotus sprouts, then the Lord is seated on the lotus. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in that particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. This is the reciprocation. Sat anugrahaya. Tad tad vapuhu. Vapu means the form. So the Lord will appear in that vapu. Pranayase sad anugrahaya. According to yad yadhya. According to the mood and meditation of the form. Urugrahaya vibhavayanti. Vibhavayanti, they specifically think of you. Krishna said, Ye yathamam prapadyate. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in that particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. So any form of the Lord, any incarnation. So he agrees to manifest in the same form, that form which has been meditated upon. The statement here that the Lord manifests himself before the devotees in the form in which the devotees like to worship him indicate that the Lord becomes subordinate to the desire of the devotees. So much so that the Lord manifests his particular form as the devotee demands. This demand of the devotee is satisfied by the Lord because he is pliable in terms of transcendental loving service of the devotee. The Lord becomes pliable. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4:11. Ye yathamam prapadyante tam satheva bhajami. We should note, however, that the Lord is never the order supplier of the devotee. Here in this verse, it is particularly mentioned, Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita. This indicates the efficiency achieved through execution of mature devotional service or prema, love of Godhead. This state of prema is achieved by the gradual process. Please hear very attentively. This state of prema is achieved by the gradual process of development from faith to love. What is the gradual process of prema from faith to love? So many times we have discussed. What is this process? Oh, Rianshi, नींद आ गई? सुला दो. आप उठती कहाँ सवेरे? 9 बजे से पहले सो रही हो, 5 बजे से पहले उठती नहीं हो. 8 घंटा सोना तो बहुत ज्यादा है. 8 hours of sleep is too much.
मुझे उठते उठते ही लेट हो जाता है, उठ के थोड़ी देर बैठ जाती हूँ फिर.
नहीं, अगर आप 9 बजे सोती हो तो फिर सवेरे आपको 4 बजे तो उठ जाना चाहिए. 7 hours of sleep is more than sufficient. नहीं है? बोलो.
Yes, sir.
Okay, बताओ. What is the gradual process from faith to love of God? What is this process? So many times we have discussed. भगवत गीता में प्रभुपाद जी ने कई बार दिया है.
The 9 limbs.
No. What are the 9 limbs?
The 9 limbs are. But I don't know serially.
No, but see, how can it be 9 limbs? This gradual process from faith, na? From faith to love. From Shraddha to Prem. So 2 components are there already. It should have Shraddha and it should have Prem. The final position is Prem and the beginning position is Shraddha. So how can it be 9 limbs? Purushottam, you tell me.
From faith, this sadhu sangha, then bhajan,
Very good.
bhajan kriya.
First thing is Adau Shraddha. अभी हम उस दिन पढ़ रहे थे that how the Bhakti Lata Beach, it transcends, it goes beyond this material world, even beyond the Brahma Loka and the Satya Loka, and it goes beyond Virja, it goes beyond Brahma Jyoti, it goes beyond Vaikuntha Loka, and it goes to the Goloka and takes shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. And from where it is beginning? How it is beginning? How the Bhakti Lata Bija is coming? That we read. What is the beginning? Is faith. Faith in what? Adau Shraddha. This should be very clear. Otherwise, Bhakti Lata will not sprout. First thing, Bija we will not have. And even if we get Bija, then Bhakti Lata will not sprout. And even if it sprout, it will not grow. Based on what we have discussed so far, अब बताओ आज का जो हमने डिस्कशन किया अभी तक क्या अंडरस्टैंडिंग है? श्रद्धा इन व्हाट? बोलो. 9 बज गया है, 9:15 हो गए. आज के परपोर्ट्स बड़े हैं. ये क्लैरिटी मैक्सिमम लोगों को नहीं है. इवन जिनका इनिशिएशन हो जाता है उनको भी नहीं है. वो हमेशा फंसे रहते हैं. जबकि प्रभुपाद जी सब कुछ अपने तात्पर्य में बिल्कुल स्पष्ट लिख रहे हैं। बोलो प्रियंका।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
हरे कृष्ण।
प्रभु जी, श्रद्धा और गुरु, साधु और शास्त्र।
Yes, very good. Especially Guru and Sadhu. Because as we discussed, other day I gave the class, I don't know whether you all heard or not. So how that bija will come, that Bhakti Lata bija will come? It is not that Krishna will give it. Krishna does not have the beach, so how can he give? It is Sadhu Kripa Labhva. It is through the mercy of a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Of course, that devotee has to be bona fide. He should have received it. Normally, it is only through the spiritual master or someone who is guiding us or connecting us to the Supreme Lord. So, Adav Shraddha. Then there is Sadhu Sangha, na? Otherwise, there remains to be a satsang. So many people have the opportunity of Sadhu Sangha. Those who are in temple. In temple, with us, there are so many employees who are working in our offices with us day and night. But are they getting the benefit of Sadhu Sangha? Why not? What is the difficulty? Why they are not getting the benefit? Why they are not going back home, back to Godhead? In our temple, there are 350 employees. Huh? And they are inside the temple every day. They spend so many hours. Why? Because they don't have this bija. They don't have the shraddha in the sadhus. Very important aspect. We were discussing in our Bhakti Vaibhav class. I'll show you the verse. Not today. Today is getting late. I'll show you tomorrow. You remind me. I'll show you the verse. What Prabhupada is writing. Very important that those who are really, I was telling this today to, I think, Ramya, I told you. Yeah. This aspect. That those who are having really reverence and submission to sadhus, they only can receive this knowledge or relationship. Others cannot. So, Ado Shraddha, and then there is Sadhu Sangha. Because without having Shraddha in Sadhu, there cannot be Bhajan Kriya. Bhajan Kriya is very difficult. What is Bhajan Kriya? Hearing and chanting. People will not find time or priority for hearing and chanting. Why? Because the faith is not there. Faith is weak. Then there is possibility of anartha nivritti. Otherwise, impossible. How we can be nivrit? This is what Brahmaji is speaking now. This is what Brahmaji was praying in the previous verse. We saw that the frustration of the non-devotees. Why? Because they cannot take to the process of hearing and chanting. They cannot perform devotional service. So this very important is to have bhajan kriya, and bhajan kriya can only be to the extent there is shraddha in sadhu. To the extent that shraddha is fixed or deep, the bhajan kriya will be steady, and anartha nivritti will become possible. Otherwise, many lifetimes are spent in this process of anartha nivritti. The material attraction does not terminate. or the fruitive mentality does not dissolve. Okay, we'll complete this. Go. So this indicates the efficiency achieved through execution. So please see how this efficiency comes through execution of mature devotional service of prema, love of Godhead. This state of prema is achieved by the gradual process of development of faith to love. On faith, one associates with a bona fide devotee. See, the same thing is coming. Without faith, there is no possibility of any association. And by such association, one can become engaged in bona fide devotional service, which includes proper initiation and the execution of the primary devotional duties prescribed in the revealed scriptures. So all three are covered: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. This clearly indicated herein by the word Shrutikshita. The Shrutikshita Patha is to hear from a bona fide devotees. Please hear very attentively. The Shrutikshita Patha is to hear from a bona fide devotees who are conversant with Vedic wisdom, free from mundane sentiments. By this bona fide hearing process, the neophyte devotee becomes cleansed of all material rubbish. This is called anartha nivritti. And thus he becomes attached to one of the many transcendental forms of the Lord described in the Vedas. Otherwise, that attraction will never ever be invoked. Attraction will always remain in material existence, material opulence, material relations. It will not be transferred to the Supreme Lord. Again, I am reading. The Shrutakshita Patha is to hear from bona fide devotees who are conversant with Vedic wisdom, free from mundane sentiments. By this bona fide hearing process, the neophyte devotee becomes cleansed of all material rubbish. That is the verse. Shanvatam Swakatha Krishna, Punya Shravanam Kirtanam, Hidayantasto hi abhadrani vidunuti suhiksata. Nasht praeshu abhadreshu. This is rubbish. What is abhadra? Is rubbish. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. And thus one becomes attached to one of the many transcendental forms of the Lord described in the Vedas. So, when there is anartha nivritti, then one comes to the stage of nishtha. Nishtha means steady faith. Initially, what was the faith? The faith was fragile, weak. But after anartha nivritti, the same faith becomes very condensed. So it is called nishtha. Then it is unwavering. Whatever may happen, his faith will not be influenced. Then he develops ruchi. Ruchi means there is attraction. And from attraction, there comes attachment. But this attachment of the devotee to a particular form, the Lord, is due to natural inclination. From nishtha to ruchi and then to asakti. Each and every living entity is originally attached to a particular type of transcendental service because he is eternally the servitor of the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya says that the living entity is eternally a servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Jivere Sarup Hoye, Krishnere Nityadas. Therefore, every living entity has a particular type of service relationship with the Lord. Please understand. Every living entity has a particular type of service relationship. The relationship is of service. And thus the devotee becomes attached to the eternal form of the Lord exactly like one who is already eternally attached. This attachment for a particular form of the Lord is called Swarup Siddhi. The Lord sits on the lotus heart. See, there was no speculation. Previous verse, I was saying the Lord sits on the lotus which sprouts in the heart. The Lord sits on the lotus heart of the devotee. in the eternal form the pure devotee desires. And thus the Lord does not part from the devotee as confirmed in the previous verse. What is the verse? That the Lord does not part from the devotee as confirmed in the previous verse. Bolo? अरे क्या सोच रहे हो? कौन सा वर्ष है? खाली तोते की तरह याद करते हो क्या? हाँ? Without understanding. The Lord sits on the heart of the devotee in the eternal form, the pure devotee's desire, and the Lord does not part from the devotees, as confirmed in the previous verse. Exact line चाहिए मुझे, पूरा वर्ष नहीं सुनूंगा. बोलो. 4 दिन से क्या झक मार रहे हो? हाँ?
हरे कृष्ण।
एक मिनट रुको. बोलो रे हर्षि.
न पैशीनाथ हृदयंबुरुहात् सपुंसः।
जय हो. तुम्हारा स्लीप भी ट्रांसडेंटल है. स्वीकार है. परफेक्ट. हाँ. न पैशनाता हृदय अंबुरुहात् स्वपुंसा. हृदय अंबुरुहात्. In the hृदय, that lotus which has sprouted, and the Lord is sitting there, He will never leave the heart of the devotee. Swapumsa. Both ways. Bhakta grihita charana paraya chatesha. And the Lord is also na peshanatha. Hidayambu ruhat swapumsa. Very good. आज हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे, Krishna has given a big opportunity for all of you, for all of us, for our next generation, to remain Krishna conscious even while remaining in school. So I was thinking of Riyanshi. I told Ramya, that is why I shifted the date of our festival. Because 12th there is this presentation. Maharaj will give the presentation about this Susukham school. So first Riyanshi will study and then she will teach in that school. Maharaj said that by class 10, every child will study Srimad Bhagavatam at least twice. All the verses. All 18,000 verses, twice. एक devotee अपने पूरे lifetime में नहीं पढ़ता. So, very good. We are training you from even earlier so that you get trained and then you can teach. You can teach the Krishna conscious children. Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. All this, this is all Brahmaji's prayers. When we will come to the 14th chapter of the 10th canto, again, 2 chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam are fully dedicated to Brahmaji's prayers. This is this 9th chapter, Brahma's prayers, and you see the 14th chapter of the 10th canto. That is also Lord Brahma's prayer, exclusively Brahma's prayer. And very, very deep dimensions those prayers have. And the most pinnacle of the prayer is also the same thing, is the process of hearing. So this is Shrutakshita Pantaha. Okay, so we move forward. The Lord does not part from the devotee as confirmed in the previous verse. The Lord, however, does not disclose himself to a casual. Please hear very attentively. The Lord, however, does not disclose himself to a casual or unauthentic worshipper to be expected. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita. Rather, by Yogamaya, the Lord remains concealed from the non-devotees or casual devotees. Not much difference between non-devotees and casual devotees. who are serving their sense gratification. The Lord is never visible to the pseudo devotees who worship the demigods in charge of universal affairs. The conclusion is that the Lord does not become the order supplier of the pseudo devotees, but is always prepared to respond to the desire of a pure, unconditional devotee, free from the tinges of material infection. Hare Krishna. I am not taking any questions because it is already late. It is past 9:30. But let me ask you, Dayashil and Ramya, why you people are joining so late, even after me every day? Huh?
Prabhuji, today plumber came, Prabhuji. So
Okay,
it was late.
I can excuse for today. Yesterday also was the same. Day before yesterday was also the same. That's not a good practice. Not a good practice. You should not join after me. You should ideally join before me, and if I am taking time to join, then you should all have bodhayanta parasparam, to what we have discussed. You should discuss what we have already discussed. Very, very deep. Each prayer is so intense and deep. Okay, try to memorize this verse. And Priyanka, I want to give you one small service. So far, how many verses we have done in Bhagavatam which we are asked to memorize? So you please make a, track of it. First canto, first chapter, we memorize the first 3 verses. You remember? Okay. And then in first chapter, what are the other verses we memorized? Make a Excel sheet. Yeah. Make an Excel sheet. First canto, first chapter, then first canto, second chapter, first canto, third chapter, if it is there. Yeah. Because जब तक हम आगे जाएंगे तो सब भूल भाल जाएंगे. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. ठीक है? तो फिर
Yes.
किसी किसी दिन सेशन लेंगे, एक्सक्लूसिवली उन्हीं को डिस्कस करेंगे. यस रम्या, बोलिए क्या कह रही है? You want to say something? Very important. This is our real asset, our treasure. एक भी श्लोक, एक भी प्रसंग अंत काले च मामेव स्वर्ण मुक्त्वा कलेवरम. पूरे लाइफ भर प्रैक्टिस करेंगे तो क्या करेंगे? अंत काल में उसकी स्मृति आएगी. तो ह्यूमन लाइफ सक्सेस. जब भीष्म देव के ऊपर वो भी ये लिख रहा था, बड़ा मुश्किल है वो भी लिखना, टाइम निकलना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है, बड़ा कंसंट्रेट करना पड़ता है लिखने के लिए. आप लोगों ने तो लिखना बंद ही कर दिया. बिल्कुल नहीं लिख रहे हैं. 6-6 महीने थे, एक साल से एक भी राइटअप नहीं आ रहा है. बहुत गलत है. पकड़ नहीं पाएंगे. प्रैक्टिस नहीं रहेगा तो पकड़ना बहुत मुश्किल होगा. छूटेगा सर. लिखिए. लेकिन लिखने में क्या करना पड़ता है? बड़ा तकलीफ होता है. जोर लगाना पड़ता है. बार बार सुनना, बार बार पढ़ना पड़ता है. लिखने से पहले कुछ भी नहीं लिख सकते आप. आपको बार बार रिव्यू करना पड़ेगा, बार बार रिवाइज करना पड़ेगा, बार बार रिप्ले करना पड़ेगा, बार बार रीड करना पड़ेगा. तो इससे क्या होता है कि जो संस्कार है, जो इंप्रेशन है, जो प्रिंसिपल है, वो हमारे चित्त में जाता है, हमारी चेतना में जाता है. उसका असर होगा ही होगा. Okay, thank you very much. Ramya, tomorrow, if you are ready, then you can give the class. Okay. हरे कृष्णा. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. निताई गौर प्रेमानंद. हरि